Hey guys, welcome back to Granted Gardens. My name is Melissa and it is fall. It is officially hit. We had a cold spell come through last night and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So what does that mean? That means that it's time to start planting stuff that we can harvest throughout the winter. So today I'm going to be starting just a couple things that we can go ahead and pick from throughout the winter. One of them is going to be microgreens. So I've got two things here of microgreens. I actually got these at a plant swap. I have no idea how old they are, but we're gonna give them a try because we got plenty. And then I also wanted to start my Tiny Tim tomatoes. So if you guys had not watched our videos from over the summer, then you missed out because I raved about these tomatoes. These Tiny Tim tomato plants here I got from microgreens. We planted them earlier this spring and we picked from them all summer long, and they are the most adorable little plants. And when I mean little, I mean tiny. The plants themselves probably only got about a foot high, but they were completely loaded with small grape-sized tomatoes. And they were fabulous on things like salads. I did a lot of sun-dried tomatoes with them. There's so much that you can do and they're very sweet. So I wanted to do some microgreens that we're going to keep here in the greenhouse for a while and clip from. And then I wanted to start my Tiny Tim tomatoes to be added to the grow station in the basement so that maybe we might get tomatoes throughout the winter. All right, it's cold. And my body has not adjusted yet at all to this really cold weather. Really cold, like, what are we at? We're like... Well, it says it's at like 62 here in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is a little warmer, but I got hot tea to get me through this one because I'm chilly. All right, so what we're going to start off with first is we're going to do the microgreens. I'm really excited about doing microgreens. It's something that I don't think we've done at all before. So I think this is new, which is cool. That's always fun. Like I said, I got these from a plant swap, so I don't have any idea how old these are. So these are Mum's brand, Mum's sprouting seeds. This one here is alfalfa, and then we also have broccoli. So what I think I want to do is I'm going to do 2 trays. I already have 1 tray set up here. I actually set this up before we left, last week, but I didn't want to start anything because they don't really take that long to germinate. So I didn't want to miss it because we were gone last weekend. So what are microgreens? So microgreens are basically like you grow a plant, a lot of a plant, and the concept is you go through and you trim it before it really like blooms into anything. So just when it just starts to sprout. I think you're looking for probably about 2 inches tall. I don't know. We're winging this. It'll be fun. Now, the thing that I always thought was funny is like, what do people put microgreens on? I don't know. I've seen people put them on like salads. You can put them on sandwiches. So this is really like a lesson for us. This is going to be an experience. Now, I also want to start off by saying I'm using potting mix, like potting soil, because it's what we had. I do not have seed starting mix, which I'm sure would probably be far more beneficial for this because these seeds are really tiny. This stuff has like a bit of like mulch and stuff in it, but look, if y'all don't know, now we use what we got first before we have to go out and buy more of anything. So I've got this tray started. The essentials for what you want with this tray is I've got this first one here that's like a standard tray with, ooh, hold on. Okay, there were spiders in there. Jumping spiders. Caught me a little off guard. Had to let them outside. Okay, please don't let there be more. All right, so what we've got here, this is a standard tray. This is like a standard seed starting tray, really. It's got holes in the bottom, so it allows the water to drain through. And then you need to have a base tray here that has no holes to set the tray with the holes inside of it. Now, the concept here is that the sprouts you can water from the bottom, and the sprouts can absorb the water through their roots, as opposed to watering from the top, where with tiny little seeds like that, you can misplace your seeds or whatnot. So you don't have stuff all sliding to one side, basically. So we're gonna go ahead and start here. I'm gonna start off with the alfalfa. Now, when you're doing microgreens, you really don't have to be too cautious about spacing because the plants aren't going to get that big before you harvest them, right? So I'm just going to sprinkle them around. Look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. So I'm just going to sprinkle them in, and I'm going to put them in fairly thick. We want it to be nice and full. No bare spots. Whoops, just went ahead and poured some on there. That's fine, you know, we're just learning as we go here. And so you want to make sure that you have all of the areas covered well, but preferably not like a boatload of them in the same spot like I just did there. So I poured some out, so I'm going to just sprinkle them around. And just make sure that you've got a nice even layer and you've got all the corners and the edges because you want this to be nice and full. All right, so there's that. That's the alfalfa. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start a second tray and I'm going to do the broccoli. All right, so now you can kind of see here, this is what my top tray looks like. So it's not really like a seed starting tray. I think this is probably a tray that we just like bought plants from the plant store and it came with it, but it does have holes so that the water will drain out of it. And then I've got my bottom tray here. This is nothing special, guys. I just got this off of Amazon. There's just no holes in it, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and set one with holes inside the one that doesn't have holes. And then we're gonna fill our tray. So I'm just adding in the soil. You wanna make sure that the soil comes up to the top of your tray. All right, so now that I've got my soil in, you want to make sure that it's not too compact because again, you want to make sure that there's it's light enough for your little plants to break through for root growth. And you also want to go through and make sure that you're breaking up any large chunks nice and fluffy, okay? So we got that, and so now we're doing the broccoli. And again, I'm just gonna sprinkle it on here. All right, now I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of soil to lightly cover the top. These are very tiny seeds, so they don't really need to be too far down in your soil. You just wanna make sure that they're a little covered. But you don't really need to layer too much soil on top. Just got my little spray bottle. We just want to make sure we go through and that we get it nice and moist. This little tiny bottle is probably going to be more work than it needs to be. Possibly using something larger would have been more beneficial, but this is what I have on hand and I don't feel like walking into the house. Okay, so that was a little tedious. I get it. There's better ways to do that. What's nice about this little bottle is that it has like a mist to it, so if you do have smaller seeds, you don't need to worry about disturbing them quite as much when you water them. Now I am expecting this turnaround to be like about 3 to 5 days, I believe, and we should see something. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cover these up and I'm going to put a little bit of weight on them. So I'm just going to stick the tray right on top. Put a terracotta pot on top just for a little bit of weight. All right, I didn't feel like digging for another terracotta pot, so we're using bunny. So the concept behind covering these guys up and putting a little bit of weight on them is you're kind of like tucking them in, right? You're tucking them in for a long winter snap. So we're gonna set this up and I'll be back in a few days to check on it and I'll share some updates. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're going to start some Tiny Tim tomatoes for the grow station in the basement. This will be the first time that we've ever tried to grow tomatoes over winter. I really hope that this pans out, you guys, because I would be so happy. All right, so I got my little seed start tray. We've got 6 here. Now I did grow these over the summer, so I don't really have hardly any seeds left in here, which I'm sad about. I didn't think about saving them. Oh, there's actually quite a few in there. Okay, we're good. So I'm gonna fill this up with soil and then we're gonna get to planting. All right, so I've got it nice and full, but it's not compact. You don't want to push the soil down. You want it to be nice and loose because we are trying to start seeds. And again, we're starting seeds with potting soil, which is not ideal, but still doable. I'm gonna go in here and take out exactly 6 because I don't want to waste these seeds. And like I said, I don't want to waste these seeds. I mean, any other season when I was trying to like start growing a garden, I'd probably put at least 2 seeds in each one of these little containers, each one of these little sections, just in case something doesn't germinate. But with this being extremely experimental and the fact of how much I absolutely love these plants, I don't want to waste the seeds. So we're going to start with just 6. Even if all of them don't germinate, I'm okay with that. I can always try again. But even if we get like 3 out of here, I'd be happy. So I'm going to just drop these little seeds here on top first. They are tiny seeds. Tiny seeds. I don't even know. There you go. Very tiny. So when you're planting seeds, you really only want to go down about twice the depth of the seed itself. And so with these being so tiny, they don't have to go far at all. So I just shoved it in just a little tiny poke, and then cover up with some soil. Bam. Maybe we'll get tomatoes. All right, so minor change of plans. Took a look at the weather. It's gonna get cold. So when you're sprouting seeds, you don't really need light. Light is not a requirement at all. What you do need, however, is warmth. And I don't think it's gonna be all that warm out here. So we're gonna take the microgreens and the tomatoes into the grow station in the basement. Not gonna turn on any lights, but we're gonna set them up down there. All right, so it's been 2 days that they have been down here. Now I have not had the light on. I'm just turning it on so we can see. But if you look super, super close, we've got sprouts. They're coming. So I'm gonna go ahead and just moisten this, spray it a little bit, and check back in a couple days. I don't see any sprouts over here yet, I don't think. Day 3. So we're gonna take a peek. Oh yeah. So we have our sprouts. So I wanna take off, yay! I wanna take off these trays. We no longer need these. And then they're pretty damp. They're good, so I think they're okay for now. And I'm gonna leave this light on here so that they can grow. But we've got action. All right, guys, so it's easily about almost 2 weeks later. I was wholeheartedly under the impression that microgreens only took a few days. But this is really the first time that I've done this and really paid attention to it. So it'll be 2 weeks later here in a couple days. And I just wanted to show you guys where we're at. We're finally at a point where I'm starting to harvest some of my microgreens. Now, unfortunately, I did get these mixed up. Like, I don't remember which tray was what. But I'm going to show you guys where we're at and show you some of the stuff that we've been harvesting. Okay, so here is our tray set up. Obviously, this seed is doing a lot better. Like I said, I don't really remember which one was which, but I don't know if maybe you guys can tell the difference. So this one over here is doing much better. We actually harvested some last night to add to our salads for dinner. So we've got a ways to go. Over here, the results are a little bit more spotty. Now granted, there was a day or 2 in there that I forgot to turn the lights on and water them, but they are alive and coming along just fine. So I'm going to give these guys a few more days and see if I can get them to get a little bit taller before we harvest. And then over here are our tomatoes. So these are the Tiny Tim tomatoes. I remember when I first shot this and was planting them, I planted 6 seeds exactly, not expecting them to all germinate, but they sure did. So I'm excited about that. We'll wait till they get a little bit bigger and then we will up pot those. But this is our microgreens. So that's a wrap for now. This is something that we are going to continue to do, so you may see more videos on stuff like this throughout the winter season, but it's really great for you to be able to have a means of vegetables throughout the winter when it's too cold outside for us to grow. This is great for supplementing things like your salad. You can mix it in with lettuce greens. You can also put it on sandwiches. That's another thing that I thought was really tasty and a great idea, so I'm excited to try that. I would really appreciate it if you guys would share down in the comments some ways that you guys use your microgreens, because I'm looking to get creative. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and we look forward to sharing more with you soon.